Good morning, anybody that's watching. Today I was going to go over the best way to keep melee generals alive. Not like generals, bodyguards, and legatists, because if you play Napoleon you already know how to keep them alive, but more noble cav, or generals that are melee capable. I also was going to go over attributes, but that's completely different. Attributes and abilities are nice. If you didn't know this, they help out gameplay a lot. I mean, you can win battles without them. However, there's like attributes like disciplined are probably like the best, like one of the best attributes a unit can have. The reason why I say this is because discipline is, your men aren't likely to rout if your general dies, like how yesterday my men routed because I didn't keep my general alive. I mean, I lost my general in both matches, which is why I lost on my side. And it's not like me to lose my general early on, but I did. And that's why I wanted to go over preservation today. I probably won't be playing as the Romans because I still have to play as the boy and Gate. But I do want to go over attributes and skills. I mean, abilities, attributes and abilities. See, even Soki Hastadi have disciplined. I think every unit except the gladiators have disciplined. Yeah, all units except the gladiators have disciplined. Gladiator spearmen and spearwomen have expert charge defense, if you didn't know. Frenzy, charge, rapid advance, and killing spree. Most women tend to have killing spree, which is weird. I mean, not killing spree, rapid advance. Alright, so first things first, I want to go over the first attribute that I was talking about, disciplined. Disciplined is a very useful attribute to have because a unit that routs is more likely to come back as long as they're not shattered. Like if your general dies, then no matter what, if a unit routs, it's immediately shattered like it is in Shogun 2. However, when your unit's disciplined and the general isn't dead, then when they break and not shattered, they have a chance of coming back. However, it's very situational, and it just depends on how many casualties they've taken, how tired they are, and if they're being chased down. For the Romans, they have two types of testudos. They have the attacking testudo and the defensive testudo. Both of these testudos do not grant bonuses in melee. Well, the Triari's defensive testudo does, but you can't move. They can brace better, but it doesn't give them better melee defense or anything. Hastadi have attaching testudo, which just puts your shields above your head. They move they move slower for sure, and are very vulnerable to shock cav charges. It also makes them extremely vulnerable to, It makes them extremely vulnerable to artillery. And one attribute that you don't see that the Romans do have is loose spacing, and the Romans and the Iberians are the only factions that have it. The Iberians, I guess because they're more of a 1 versus 1 type of people, and the Romans because that's how they avoid missiles. I mean, artillery more than missiles. The next one is formation attack. I've gone over this before. It's how Hellenic and Latin factions tire less quicker than the barbarians or even the Easterns in some cases. Eastern factions. Now, in a patch, they said that a unit that stays in formation will get a melee bonus, and the melee bonus is that they just tire less quickly, from what I've seen. Formation attack is useful if you don't want your units to, like your models to move and you want them to stay together. However, in some cases, like if you're hitting the back of an opponent, sometimes it's better to not have formation attack on. First cohort are the first unit that gets the encourage ability or attribute. It's just provides a morale bonus, and that's always nice. It's probably why they cost more than Evil Caddy cohort, but are like pretty much weaker when it comes to armor and melee attack. Oh yes, use the whip. Last but not least, it's use the whip. Just gives better melee attack and weapon damage for a short time, but then after that you get tired. You don't have fatigue resistance. I mean, they don't tire as quickly as the ability lasts. Like, you won't see them become active if they're fresh. And square is a square. You brace on all sides, have better melee defense and morale, but you can't move, just like a defensive testudo. Killing spree is useful when you use it in conjunction with frenzy if a unit has it. Gladiator men do not have frenzy. No, they don't. The women do, which give the women an advantage when they're charging. For spearmen it's different because spearmen have better charge. However, spear gladiatresses have two abilities that can give them better charge. Keep in mind that all three abilities that are seen right here will tire the woman out. I've gone over precision shot. Basically just increases weapon damage, missile damage. Quick reload is, I believe it doubles. If it doesn't double, it gives it your shots per minute a +6 boost. Silky Equites Extraordinary have disciplined. The only cav unit that doesn't have discipline for the melee cav are these two, and they're both Equites. These guys don't have it either. And elephants obviously don't, or dogs. Moving over to artillery. Flammable round is better versus buildings than it is against infantry. The ballista has explosive round, which is best against lightly armored units. Like, if you're going up against a heavily armored, if you're trying to target a heavily armed unit, like a unit that has like at least 60 armor, then you're gonna want to stay with the regular rounds. The Beehive Onager has the regular, which is the regular round for the Beehive Onager is the beehives. It works like an explosive round, but it does, I think it ignores armor. I'm not 100% sure if it does. I'd have to test it out in battle. However, I think onagers, for the most part, have poison rounds. which I do know about. Poison rounds are pretty effective versus infantry or cav. It reduces their melee attack and melee defense. And also causes some fatigue. Now I'm trying to find units that have different attributes. And shield wall. The Romans don't have shield wall, I think because that would make them overpowered. However, there's a mod that can make you have the shield wall. Shield wall is best used when you're going up against elephants frontally or chariots frontally. To be honest, if you're going up against elephants frontally and you're not caught off guard, you probably want to, throw your javelins and then go into shield wall, because there's a chance that when they run amok, they'll run backwards and not forwards, but it's always a chance. Headhunt. The barbarians have it. Noble fighters are barbaric, but they're mercenaries to Carthage. It's just melee attack and morale, and you sacrifice melee defense when it's over. And it's a gradual increase. Like, I think Headhunt is a weird ability, because in some cases when you see it, it will have like a sliver of an effect on melee attack and morale, and in some cases when you see it, the morale jumps up to 330, and they're practically unbreakable, and the melee attack's like 70. That's why I think Headhunt is very weird. Hoplite Wall, as I've mentioned before, it's good for bracing, melee defense, shield strength, but you move slower. Like when you transition speeds, you will move slower, and you can't